images and fonts today. So finding good fonts, finding good images can be half your fight in Photoshop. A lot of the struggle in Photoshop is that you have very specific images in your head for what you want something to look like, and you can't find an image to match that. So one of the things you need to do is think outside the box when finding images. Now, if we go to Google and just type in the word images and then hit images, as a student, as somebody exploring with this program, there's nothing wrong with grabbing images from anywhere just to experiment with things. Now, if you're trying to sell something, you're going to have more problems. You can't use copyrighted images, and if it's on Google like this, just assume that it's copyrighted, okay? So if I were to click on one of these images and hover over on the right-hand side, I can see a pixel count right here for how big or how small the image is. 600 by 400 pixels. If the image is 300 pixels per inch, then this is only 2 inches wide. That's not going to fit on a billboard, right? That's only going to fit on a business card, and even there it's going to be small. If I go to my next image here and look at its pixel count, it's at about 4,000 by 3,000. This is dramatically bigger. Even though these images look like the same size here, this one's dramatically bigger than this one is. Now, when you're saving images from Google like this, if you were to save this image right here, right click, save image, what you're saving is a thumbnail. It's a small version. So if I were to scroll quickly through this, you see how it kind of blinks and it takes a minute to upload these images. They upload so fast because these are small images, right? The bigger images are going to come from the right side of Google over here. If I were to right click or control click on this and go to save image as, this will be the larger image. So just a quick note, if you ever see down here in the name of the file, it says images or download, it's a thumbnail. It's going to be a very small version of the actual image. Under file type, we want to keep things as JPEG as best we can, but you're going to find a number of file types doing this. You're going to find PNGs, which you can work with. You're going to find AVIF, which you can work with. You just have to hit open when it goes to Photoshop. You're also going to find things called WebP, which sometimes you can work with in Photoshop, but you're going to find a bunch of different file types. JPEG is kind of the king of what we're looking for. So you can save that to your desktop if you'd like. The amount of pixels in your image is going to determine how big your image is, how clear it is though. So you want higher pixel counts. And if I were to click on a bunch of these, I would see for the most part, they're going to be small images. To find bigger images, go to Tools right here, go to Advanced Search, click on that. And then go down to where it says Image Size. And you can choose how big you want this image to be. Pick a larger than 70 MP, megapixels, search that. You're going to find some dramatically bigger images, 11,000 by 6,000. A lot of these will be NASA. NASA takes wildly large images. That being said, when you find these large images, they may not want you to steal them. So you might not be able to save them properly. You might have to go to the website to find that image. Now, this is all copyright infringement as far as I'm concerned, right? Grabbing from Google, just assume you're stealing stuff. That's not a good look. There are websites out there like Pixabay or Pexels that will allow you to find images that are free. So in Pexels and Pixabay, you're not going to find the exact image that you're looking for. So let's say you're making an NBA poster. You want to put LeBron and Mike on there facing off against each other. You're not going to find those pictures here. You can find those in Google if you want, if they have them, but people don't want you stealing their pictures of celebrities that they have. People pay big money for that. So instead of looking for LeBron and Mike, could you get away with any basketball player facing off against another? Probably, right? And you're going to find pretty good images in these sources. It may not be the exact thing you're looking for, but you can make it work along the way. So try to find images that are free, especially if you're selling things. If you're selling this poster to somebody, it has to be copyright free or lawsuits abound. That's not a good thing. Now let's go look at fonts real quick. Duh Font is the place to go for the largest variety of fonts, but they are free fonts and you get what you pay for, which means some of these fonts aren't going to work like you think. You can click on download over here, but before you do, I would click on the actual font, scroll down, and I would see if it has lowercase letters or if it has numbers. For example, this font has no numbers. You can't type 1 and get a 1. That can be a bit of a problem, right? So you get what you pay for with these fonts. So before you hit download on a font, you want to double check real quick what it can be used for. So right here, these fonts are free for personal use. That means you can use them for yourself. That means you can't sell these fonts. If you were to put this on a design and then sell it, they could come at you for copyright. So let me go to some different fonts right here. Let me go under themes. I'm going to click on Groovy here. Now there are some other options in here other than free for personal use. So if I go over here and look, I can see free for personal use is the predominant that you're going to see. 100% free means you can use these fonts on anything and sell it. They're giving you full access. You can donate to the author, and that's just good practice in my opinion. Occasionally you'll come across fonts that say donationware or shareware. What this is saying that if you donate to the author, you can use it, right? So if you donate to that author, you can use that on whatever you would like. So there are some caveats around what fonts you're picking. I recommend only downloading 100% free fonts. That just makes sure that you don't accidentally use a font. Now, Duh Font is a good place to go to download fonts. So is 1001 Fonts. They both kind of work the same way. You'll see some similar options for them here. If I hit on download, it's going to download a file for this. Most of the time, it's going to download a zip file. Sometimes it'll just download an OTF or a TTF file. Now, when I click on that file, it's going to open up this symbol. You're looking for open type fonts or true type fonts, OTF or TTF file types. If you were to double click on this and then install this onto your computer, you will now have this font on any of your programs. So that'll get you that font onto your computer very easily. You can download hundreds of fonts, and I recommend downloading a boatload of fonts because nobody wants to look at boring typography, right? So download as many fonts as you feel comfortable downloading. I do recommend making sure they're the 100% free. Now, when it comes to fonts, you get what you pay for, right? Duh Font, 1001 Fonts are free. Google Fonts is free. There are a boatload of fonts inside of Google Fonts. The Adobe font selection is not free. You have to pay for this through your subscription. So if you have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud, you have access to the Adobe fonts. And this gives you a lot more options. We can see the types of fonts over here, what kind of fonts that you have, whether they be serif or sans serif, what type of font families they have, whether they have bolds, lights, italics. And you can just hit add family on any of these sections. So if I go down here, what do I like? I like this introducing one. So Alice Assey here, I'm going to hit add family. Give it a couple moments. This will automatically upload it into Photoshop or Illustrator or any of the Adobe programs. So it'll take it a moment to get there, but if I go to a program and type in this name, that will now pop up inside of Photoshop. It's a font that I can use. On my website, I have a large list of resources you can use to find different fonts, to find different images, and other things along the way just to help you out. So if you're struggling to find copyright-free images, go to the website, trippiedesign.com, check under Classroom Resources, and you can kind of play around with some of those websites that are in there that will help you out along the way. Pixabay and Pexels are kind of my go-to to find images. Duh Font or Adobe Fonts are kind of my go-to places to find fonts. Feel free to experiment. If you're looking for specific things, you can Google images in the classroom as a student. When you are sitting there working as a student, you are covered over certain types of copyright that make it so that you can play with those. But you cannot sell those designs with those images that are copyrighted. So keep that in mind. So I hope you learned a little bit today about finding images, finding fonts for your design. If this has helped you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to like or subscribe to the channel and keep building your creative toolbox. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.